hello! Oh, right, I need to move my camera from yesterday's stream. Yeah, so if you're ever looking at my videos and you're watching them in order and you're wondering why the camera keeps changing size and position, well, I feel like I've had enough streams where I've edited the camera last minute on stream that it's actually pretty obvious already, but, you know. Alright. This is probably about right for the camera. So, yeah. Let us get started. I'm excited to finally properly get started with Fritz's route. I have been informed that we're in for a ride. Oh, whoops. Nope. I did the wrong thing. Load. Load from save. Fritz chapter 3. Alright. And we go back. Chapter 3. Reunion. I am in town with Waltz because Parfait needed supplies for her potions, and we were the only ones available to get them for her. Lucette, thinking to herself. I do not know why, but I feel on edge. Waltz. Don't worry, Princess. I won't let anything bad happen to you. Though, you know, you wouldn't even have to be here if Lady Parfait hadn't placed so many orders. Lucette. I do not understand why she has to get everything today. Surely she can just pick up the rest tomorrow. Lucette, thinking to herself. If she was more patient, I wouldn't have needed to go out at all today for such a bothersome chore. Waltz. Lady Parfait's been receiving a lot of orders lately. She needs to keep up with the demand somehow. Lucette. Silence. Let's make this quick. Waltz. Of course. My eyes wander to the shop right in front of me. This should be the place. Witch. How can I help? Oh, it's you. Lucette, thinking to herself. This is the witch who came into the Marchen some time ago with mud on her shoes. Witch. What can I do for you two? Waltz. We need all of the items on this list, please. Waltz holds out the list that Parfait gave him. The witch surveys the list, then gives a thoughtful nod. Witch. I'll collect these for you right away. It will only be a few moments. The witch disappears into her back room. I fold my arms as we wait, my thoughts drifting. Waltz. We'll be finished before you know it, Princess. Lucette. Silence. Man A. Well, look who it is. Man B. Hello again, little girl. Man A. And it seems like you're here again with your little friend. Lucette. Shocked. Thinking to herself, these are the men that tried to rob me back when I was on the streets. Waltz quickly steps in front of me as if to shield me from the men. Lucette, thinking to herself, can he even protect me? Man B. She cleans up all right, don't she? Almost didn't recognize her all neat. Lucette. What do you want? Man A. Us? We don't want nothing, but we heard there's someone who wants you. Man B. And they're willing to pay more money than we could have ever gotten from you. The man reaches out to grab me, but Waltz slaps his hand away. The men's unwashed stench reaches my nose, and I try not to gag. Waltz. Don't touch her. Witch. Oi, what's this? The witch reappears at the door, and the men back off slightly when she appears. Man B. None of your business. Witch. I think it is. These people are my customers. Man A. Stay out of this, hag. Witch. Hag? I am slightly startled when the witch leans forward and whispers to us. Witch. Listen. You both start running, okay? You run as fast as you can and don't stop for anyone. You need to get back to the Marchen. Waltz. But... Witch. Don't you worry about me. I'll distract them for as long as I can. But you need to run. Go. Man A. Hey! Witch. Look alive, boys! This one itches! Waltz grabs my hand and pulls me with him as we run, not even turning back to look when we hear the shatter of glass. Lucette. She is a witch. Why would she help us? Waltz. Because she is a good witch, princess. Lucette, thinking to herself. I am sure that she is only helping us because she wants us to keep us indebted to her. Yeah, well, that is what her mother taught her. We continue running against a current of people. I manage to keep up with Waltz for a time, but it is not long before my hand slips out of his and I am lost to the crowd. The minute I am separated from Waltz, I stop. Panic begins to well up inside of me. Lucette. Waltz! I frantically look around at the crowds, trying to find him, but I fail. Lucette, thinking to herself. I need to get back to the Marchen. Slowly, it dawns on me that I am in a part of town that I do not recognize. Lucette, thinking to herself. I do not know my way around this area. I knew leaving the Marchen was a bad idea. When I see Parfait again, I will give her a piece of my mind. Manet. I found her! Lucette, shocked. I immediately turn on my heels and run as fast as I can. I am so panicked I cannot see what is in front of me. I do not notice the man in front of me until I crash into him. I prepare to fall, but the man has braced himself just before I crash into him. We both somehow manage to remain upright. Lucette. Excuse me, Man. Princess? Lucette. This voice, thinking to herself. I look up in shock. Fritz? Fritz. It really is you! Princess, Lucette, thinking to herself. How does he remember who I am? Manet. There she is! Lucette, thinking to herself. I have no time to think about this now. Fritz. Who? I grab his arm and pull him with me into a run. Fritz. Why are we running? Somehow he is barely out of breath despite how long we have been running. It sends a sliver of irritation through me. Lucette. I think those men wanted to sell me. Fritz. What? I shake my head as I try to tug him forward again. However, Fritz does not budge. Fritz. Princess. Lucette, thinking to herself. This is very irritating. Out loud. We must keep moving. Man B. I see her! Lucette, thinking to herself. Oh no. Fritz. Princess? Lucette, thinking to herself. Wait, Fritz is a knight. Out loud. I trust you can manage these two fools. Fritz. With one hand behind my back. With a nod and a confident smile, he turns to face the oncoming men. He moves to stand in front of me, effectively shielding me with his body. Manet. 2-on-1? I don't like your chances, boy! Man B. We've got no business with you. We just want the girl. Manet. Run on home. She'll be more trouble than this is worth. Fritz. You'll have to get through me first. Man B. Ha! And how are you gonna stop us? Fritz. With this. Yay. I'm sorry. I've been really looking forward to Fritz's route because I'm really here for the, I get protective knight trope. I have, I mean, I know it's going to be a lot more dramatic than this, but I knew there'd be at least some Fritz protecting Lucette, and I'm just so here for that. I know some of the other love interests did that too, but, he is specifically her personal bodyguard, and there's just that, I love that trope as a, bodyguard romance thing. I'm just really here for it. Fritz brandishes his sword and smiles at them. Fritz is second only to his father, Sir Alcaster, in his ability with the sword. His skill is obvious, just in the way he holds the blade. Man B. Waving around a sword isn't gonna scare us away this time. Manet. The girl is worth enough gold to sort out any scratches we might get. Fritz. Any closer, and I'll do more than scratch you. Manet. Get him! The fight is over as quickly as it starts. I cannot keep up with Fritz's movements at first, but when I am able to focus on him again, the two men are completely immobilized. Aw, yeah, I'm also really here for, like, competence, and I know we got a little bit of that in Karma's Route, but I imagine we will get more of that in Fritz's Route, and I am very looking forward to it. Hold on one sec, my light is having issues. Okay, I think that's fixed. More accurately, my light is falling down. Not that it seems to quite be doing what I want it to. Yeah, see, that's what I want. Sorry, I was trying not to pay attention to the light, but now that I am, it's like, Anyway, that's not relevant to the game. It's fine. Everything's fine. Anyway, one is sprawled on the ground with Fritz's foot firmly planted on his back. The other is collapsed against the wall of the alleyway with the tip of Fritz's sword pressed against his neck. Fritz. You wanted to question them? Lucette, thinking to herself. Fritz is completely unscathed. I turned to look at the man against the wall, thinking he might be more capable of speech at this time. Lucette. Who was going to pay you? Man B. Tch. Fritz. I'd answer her. Man B. Shocked. I watch as Fritz presses his sword against the man's neck, enough to draw a gasp out of him. Man B. It was a witch! Lucette. A witch? Thinking to herself. Waltz insisted the witch we met was good, but this is just further proof that witches will always be inherently wicked. Lucette. Bold of you to assume it was the witch from the shop. It definitely was not the witch from the shop. Probably myth, but... Man B. It was a witch, I swear! We got a note with your picture. Then it burned to pieces right before our eyes once we'd read it. Oh, hello, Ice Starmie! I am, probably about 15 minutes into the chapter. And I am so excited to have, I'm also just, Fritz, I really, really, really like Fritz, and I was talking about how I like a lot of the tropes that his character represents, particularly in Fritz mode, but, I look forward to finding out more about Varg as well. But, we don't get a lot of him in other routes, because he's, there's so much going on with him, and I assume it's also a massive spoiler and stuff, but, so I am so excited to be getting to actually hang out with Fritz and spend time with this character. And I also like how, I was saying earlier, I really like kind of the bodyguard romance trope, and that's obviously a lot of the early energy, at least, of this story. Lucette. What did the note say? Man B. Just to get you to the witch in one piece. That payment would come when that happened. Fritz. How much was the payment? Man B. Silence. Fritz. Answer me! Man B. 1,000 gold pieces! A whole 1,000! Lucette, thinking to herself. 1,000 gold pieces would be enough to feed a family for years. Fritz. Princess? Lucette, thinking to herself. Not just anyone would have that kind of wealth. They would have to be nobility, royalty even. Are witches disguising themselves as members of the aristocracy now? Fritz. Princess. Lucette. Yes? Fritz. What do you want to do with these two? I look at the men and feel something icy run through my veins. Lucette, thinking to herself. These men were going to abduct me. Yeah, Ice Starmie, I see what you mean. Both Lucette and Fritz come up a bit prejudiced against witches, and that's unfortunate. I mean, I can see how that happened, but yeah, it's still unfortunate. Anyway, these men, Lucette thinking to herself, these men were going to abduct me. There is no telling what they would have done to me if they had caught me. Man A. Please! Man B. Don't beg. What would your son say if he heard you? Lucette thinking to herself. He has a family? That does not matter. Even if I had mentioned my family, it would not have made a difference. Wait. Out loud. What did you do to her? Man B. Do to who? Lucette. The woman at the shop. What did you do to her? Man A. Silence. Man B. Nothing that can't be fixed. Lucette. Did you hurt her? When neither of the men answer me, I frown. Lucette, thinking to herself, I do not know why that witch was trying to save me. But she did try. These men cannot get away with doing whatever they wish. Out loud. Answer me. What did you do to her? Man B. Nothing that won't heal. The anger that was nothing but a small flame bursts full force in my chest. Lucette, thinking to herself, they do not deserve mercy. Wow, I have, like, no idea what the right choice would be here. I really feel like we just don't know Fritz well enough. But I'm gonna lean towards spare them, because that's my, like, they deserve some punishment, but I'm kind of getting a vibe that the punishment here might be, like, death, and that seems a little much, and so, like, on the other hand, if we spare them, they'll probably just run off and do it again, but I usually... But, you know, also we're trying to guide Lucette to a path that's more towards mercy and kindness, so... I'll try sparing them, we'll see if I get the choice indicator. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself. They deserve to be punished, but... These men were nothing but puppets to some other master. Punishing them is a waste of time. It is an additional burden that I do not care to shoulder. Fritz. Princess? Lucette. Promise not to come after me ever again. Swear it. Man A. I swear on my life you'll never see me again. Man B. I swear it as well. Lucette. Let them go. Fritz. Silence. As you wish. Fritz and I leave the men behind in the alleyway. I sigh in relief when... You know what? That feels like that is where the choice indicator would have come up. So, alright then. Let's try punishing them, I guess. Lucette, thinking to herself. They are not good men. They must be punished. How dare they think they can get away with it? Oh, the right choice is to spare them. Maybe I just didn't wait long enough. Okay. Never mind. I'm gonna load back from this and go back to sparing them. I sigh in relief. Well, I'll try going a little further. I sigh in relief when the scenery around me becomes more familiar. From here, I can probably find my way back to the Marchen. Fritz is so unusually quiet that I barely notice him as I become wrapped up in my thoughts. I mean, I guess to be fair, the part where he presumably talks to her about it afterwards might be where... Oh, yeah, Ice Starmie, you're right. I could have just played the whole thing through, but... I don't want to go through and do it again, but I'll certainly go back and check some of that out on my own. Fritz is so unusually quiet that I barely notice him as I become wrapped up in my thoughts. Yeah, unfortunately the chat delay is just... sometimes it can be a pain. Lucette, thinking to herself, what does a witch want with me? As far as I know, I have never done anything to a witch. Fritz. Princess? I am startled when Fritz talks. Lucette. Yes? Fritz. You let those men go. I wasn't expecting you to... Yeah, there it is. Alright, I just didn't wait long enough. Had to wait until he actually talked about the circumstance. Fritz. Silence. You showed them mercy when not everyone would have. Lucette. Mercy? Thinking to herself. Is that what it was? I think Fritz just has more faith in my morality. I did not spare those men to save them. I spared them to avoid the consequences. Out loud. It was difficult. Fritz. The most meaningful shows of mercy often are, but... Silence. Lucette. thinking to herself. Why is he smiling at me like that? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just having I notice Fritz fidgeting. It is a sure sign that he has something else he wants to say. And I am also really liking that, because she knows, this is the first love interest where she knows him. Or at least remember she knows him. I have some suspicions about Waltz, but... So, she is able to pick up on these little signs like this about him right from the get-go, and I love it. Lucette. What is it? Fritz. Where have you been, princess? One day you just suddenly disappeared. No one in the palace seems to remember you at all. Why am I the only person who can remember you? Lucette, thinking to herself. Could Fritz be... Out loud. Are you cursed, Fritz? Fritz looks shocked. Fritz out loud. Are you talking about the fairy tale curse? Lucette. Yes. Fritz. No, of course I'm not. What makes you think that I am? Lucette, thinking to herself. If he is not cursed, how else could he know who I am? Out loud. Are you a witch or a fairy? Fritz stares at me as if I have grown another head. Fritz. I don't understand why you're asking this, princess. I am definitely human. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself. Could it be that he is somehow unaware of the conditions of his curse? I must speak with Delora and Parfait about this. Fritz. Princess, what is going on? Princess! Lucette, thinking to herself. I need to get to the Marchen as quickly as possible, so I can speak to Parfait and Delora about what Fritz's curse might be. Waltz is probably looking for me as well. Then, abruptly, Fritz puts himself in front of me, blocking my path. Oh yeah, Ice Stormy, I can imagine the fact that Fritz doesn't even know about his curse makes it harder for him to fight it. Yeah, I mean, hard to do something about something you literally don't know is happening. Lucette. What are you doing? Fritz. I could ask you the same thing. Where are you going? Lucette. I am returning to the Marchen. Fritz. The Marchen? You know what, Lucette? You really skipped a lot of explanation for poor Fritz. Oh, also a good point, Ice Stormy. If he doesn't know about it, he won't even try to break it. Because, yeah, he won't know to try to break it. So, I guess this would be the only route where he even finds out that he's cursed. Or at least, the only route so far. Anyway, Lucette. It's a tavern for the cursed. I've been living there. Fritz. Princess, are you saying that you've been cursed? Lucette, thinking to herself. Oh, I forgot I haven't told him yet. Fritz. Princess, I need answers, please. Lucette. Silence. I suppose you will not let me leave without an explanation. Fritz. Not after you suddenly disappeared like that. Lucette. Silence. Very well. Delora and Parfait will have to wait. You know, you could bring him back to the Marchen with you. Oh, okay, fair enough. Fritz is convinced the only place I will be safe is his house, and I am not in the mood to argue with him. I look around the modest living room. Lucette. I did not realize that you had lodging outside of your room in the palace. Light. No, stop falling. Sorry, my ring light is falling over. Just need it. Alright. Fritz. I grew up here. I was older than usual when I started training to be a knight, so I spent a lot of time in this house. He walks over and hands me a mug of tea. The comforting scent of it, and the realization that he has made it precisely as I prefer it, makes something loosen inside of me. Fritz sits opposite me, his eyes bright and focused. Fritz. Start at the beginning. Lucette. Silence. Fritz. Please, princess, I need to know in order to put my mind at ease. Lucette. One night I was in the palace, and then the next morning I was on the street, dressed in rags. I tell him about no one remembering who I am, and about my first encounter with the men that Fritz fought in the alleyway. I tell him how I was saved by those at the Marchand. Yet I say nothing about Delora or Parfait, and I deliberately leave the identities of the Marchand boarders anonymous. I am not sure why exactly, but I feel suspicion tugging insistently at me. Lucette, thinking to herself, how is it possible for someone to be unaware of their curse? Rumple has amnesia, and even he knows he is cursed. Fritz said that he is human. I can trust him, right? I close my eyes and will the impending headache away. Lucette, thinking to herself, maybe Mother was right. Maybe it is impossible to trust anyone, including my knight. Fritz, and what is your curse? I mean, to be fair, I do feel like if Fritz cannot be trusted, it's not his fault for what good that does. Like, it's not like if Fritz did not have a mystery curse that he wasn't unaware of, he would be perfectly trustworthy. But it's probably not a terrible idea to be a little suspicious, since based on what I assume about his curse. Lucette, silence. Fritz, Princess? Lucette, can I still trust you, Fritz? Fritz, Fritz does not even bother trying to mask his shock. There is sadness in his eyes. Fritz, when have I ever betrayed you, Your Highness? Lucette, thinking to herself, Fritz has been loyal to me ever since he was assigned to me. But every person I've trusted on has turned at that. Anyway, let me just check. Have you heard about the Save the Cat beat sheet? It's a way to plan your stories. I don't think all stories follow this outline, but I have realized the roots of Cinderella Phenomenon do. I'm not familiar with that, actually. I'll look it up later. It's smart to be on guard a bit here. Yeah, no, I agree. Anyway, Fritz has been loyal to me since he was assigned to me, but every person I trust has turned on me, apart from Mother. Even my beloved doll betrayed me. How can I be sure that Fritz will not do the same? I mean, to be fair, Lucette, probably a lot fewer... There are probably some people that never would have or did betray you, but your mother made you think they did. But that's a whole other problem. Fritz, I swore on my life that I would protect you, Princess. I would never lie to you or do anything that would put you in harm's way. Lucette, silence. Cinderella, I have to complete 3 good deeds to break it. Fritz, Cinderella? Are you sure? That fairy tale is about... Lucette, it's been reversed in my case. Fritz, oh, that makes sense. What will you do now? Lucette, return to the Marchand. I must break my curse. Fritz, I can't allow that unless I stay at the Marchand with you. Lucette, what? Why? Fritz, I have been wondering where you were this whole time, Princess, trying to find you. And now that I've found you, I must resume my duties. I need to protect you, and I want to make sure you are safe by staying with you. Sorry, I'm just like, this is the exact trope. I know, like, it's sometimes done problematically, and, like, the White Knight, trope can do some harm in real life, but, like, done genuinely in media and not in a problematic way, I'm just so here for I will protect you with my life as a romance trope. I just hope he doesn't actually have to protect her with his life, but, you know, for a good ending, I'm hoping that would not happen. Maybe in the bad ending, but surely he will survive the good ending. Fingers crossed. Lucette, silence. You are no longer my knight, Fritz. You work for Emmeline now, don't you? Fritz, I am not her personal knight. I work in shifts with her other guards, so I'm not expected to stay the whole day. Besides that, I am your knight, and I intend to fulfill that role until you no longer need my services. I failed to protect you from being cursed. Let me protect you this time, princess. Lucette, thinking to herself. Fritz is very capable. No doubt he will be able to protect me better than anyone else at the Marchen. And who knows how many people received the witch's note? The witch wouldn't even need to enter the Marchen herself, so long as she has others there to capture me. No matter where I am not safe, especially when I have no idea who I can trust. Fritz, stay here. Stay with me. Lucette, shocked. Fritz, I'll be able to be with you. I can keep you safe. It won't be for long, just until I can get you back into the palace where you belong. Lucette, and how will you do that? Nobody apart from the cursed, the witches, and the fairies remember that I am the crown princess. Fritz, I still remember you. Lucette, you must be cursed as well, Fritz. There is no other explanation. Fritz, I would think I'd remember if I'd been cursed, princess. According to the Save the Cat beat sheet, the curse was the catalyst that made the story happen. After the catalyst, there is a moment that can be overall good or bad. If it's good, it ends in a false victory. If it's bad, it ends in a false defeat. Oh, okay, yeah, fair. And also, yeah, Hildir used to mess with her memory, so she certainly made Lucette forget good people in her life. Gosh, like, the literal gaslighting is just, when you can erase your child's memories, it's like next level gaslighting. Oof. Anyway, Lucette, thinking to herself, I would be inclined to agree. Even Rumple, who'd forgotten everything else, remembered that he'd been cursed. But then, what could Fritz's fairy tale be? I hadn't truly intended on staying with Fritz, but somehow the day passes by without me noticing. Before I know it, night has fallen. Lucette, thinking to herself, it is far too late to attempt to return to the Marchen on my own now. Even if, for some reason, Fritz allowed me to leave his house. Okay, I had a moment when night fell where I was like, is this going to be a night and day type curse? Because that would be... I mean, I guess it's not too late for that to be true, but I can't remember if we've seen Varg during the day. No, I feel like we have. I'm definitely convinced that, like, Fritz is Varg and that is something to do with this curse. By the midpoint, we have some kind of reveal that will test the story. In the Cinderella Phenomenon case, it's the big reveal moment. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Fritz, you can stay in the guest room, princess. My father returns here at night, after his duties for the day are over. Lucette, thinking to herself, I'd almost forgotten. Sir Alcaster Leverton, Fritz's father and the commander of the Order of Caldera. Out loud. I thought he'd have his own room at the palace, like you do. Fritz. My father's never stayed the night at the palace, as far as I know. He always comes back to sleep here, no matter how late he leaves the palace. Or how early he has to get up to return there. Alcaster. Silence. Fritz. Good evening, father. Alcaster looks at me, then Fritz. Alcaster. Who is this? The weight of his stare makes me feel like looking away, but I manage to stare back at him coolly. Fritz. This is Lucella... Lucella. This is Lucette Riella Breton, daughter of King Gennaro Breton III and the crown princess of the kingdom of Angiel. Alcaster. I am not in the mood for games, boy. Fritz. It's the truth. I told you about her when she disappeared, that she'd been forgotten. Alcaster. Nonsense. Fritz. She's been forgotten because of the fairy tale curse. Alcaster. Silence. Sir Alcaster's eyes are cold and calculating. Lucette, thinking to herself, I do not like the way he is looking at me. Alcaster. What is your fairy tale? Lucette, thinking to herself, I do not want to tell him. Sir Alcaster's gaze grows colder as his question is met by a long stretch of silence. I only relent when I see Fritz about to answer for me. Lucette. Cinderella. Alcaster. Silence. I trust you will break your curse, princess. Sir Alcaster says nothing more, and I am surprised when he simply walks away into a bedroom and far away from us. The door closes behind him, and Fritz and I are left alone. Fritz. It'll make things easier if he believes us. Lucette, thinking to herself. I saw the look in his eyes. I doubt he believes us. That would be too simple. Sleep does not come easily, even though this bed is significantly more comfortable than the bed at the March End. Lucette, thinking to herself. What could Fritz's curse be? I sit up in bed when I hear footsteps outside. I stare at the clock. It is almost 2 in the morning. Alcaster. You are late. Ma'am. My apologies. Okay, and then I'm gonna go over to... Yep, most routes in Cinderella Phenomenon start bad, with Lucette having trouble fitting in and getting the good deeds. Fritz's route is the only one that starts in a good way for Lucette. Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah, she found Fritz, and she is now in Fritz's home and more comfortable than the March End. Things are looking up for her. For now. Oof. I do have a feeling that that means things are going to then devolve. Oof. Lucette. That is Sir Alcaster's voice. But I do not recognize the other one. Alcaster. Come, we have much to discuss. The sound of their footsteps slowly fade, and silence descends once more. Lucette, thinking to herself. I suppose being the commander of the Order of Caldera means that he is always busy. But working at this time? Soon enough, my exhaustion coaxes me back into slumber. I close my eyes and let my desire to sleep win over my curiosity. Well, at least we know who this man is. I'm guessing it's Myth. No, she'd recognize Myth's name. Myth's voice. So I'm not sure who it is. I mean, I know that obviously I'm sure it's something to do with Alcaster's coup, but... Yeah. If things are good in the beginning, it's a false victory, and then things start going south. Yeah, that tracks. Anyway, here's another flashback of probably repressed memories that her mother messed with. Lucette. Silence. Man A. It's true. She definitely takes after you-know-who. Man B. I heard that rather than... Sorry, not maid. I just said man, and it was actually maid. Maid A. It's true. She definitely takes after you-know-who. Maid B. I heard that rather than speak to people, she only ever speaks to her dolls. Maid A. I can believe that. She seems a little weird in the head. Maid B. She is so strange. I can't believe she's going to be queen one day. Lucette. Silence. Maid A. Shocked. No, Maid B. Good morning, Your Highness. Maid A. Please excuse us. Lucette. Silence. Yeah, okay, that wasn't actually a suppressed memory from her mother like a lot of the other ones were. That was just her remembering a scene at the palace, it felt like. Lucette can be oblivious when the plot needs her to be. Fair enough. Despite my exhaustion, my sleep is brief, with all the thoughts whirling through my mind. When I feel it is late enough, I finally step out of bed and make my way towards the living room. Sir Alcaster and Fritz are both there, but they fall silent at my entry. Alcaster. Silence. Lucette. Sir Alcaster. Alcaster. Princess. Lucette. Are you leaving for the palace? Alcaster. Yes. Fritz. Will you be able to get the princess back into the palace? Alcaster. I will inform Mithros of the situation. Lucette, thinking to herself. Sir Mithros? Fritz. But, father, Sir Mithros won't... Alcaster. Mithros will work as quickly as possible to resolve this. Wow. Man, it's funny, because I just was thinking she was thrown right into the den of wolves here. Totally not Fritz's intent, but oof. And then it's funny that I thought that, because right into the den of wolves, and Fritz probably being Varg, and also the Red Riding Hood curse, it's like, yeah. The Fritz being Varg means wolf things, and also, therefore, the den of wolves metaphor works really well there. Alcaster. In the meantime, she will be safe here, won't she? I'm standing close enough to Fritz that I notice his body posture stiffen, I see the way he clenches his hands into fists, and the way he squares his shoulders. Fritz. Of course she is. I am her knight. Alcaster. Then there is no problem. Lucette. You and Sir Alcaster do not seem very close. Fritz sighs. He looks somewhat flustered, though it doesn't seem to be out of any embarrassment. Fritz. Princess, Lucette. Should I not have said anything? Once again, I have no idea which one is the right one here. I'm gonna press the issue, I guess? Lucette. I noticed the way he spoke to you, and in the palace I never saw the two of you together. Fritz. Silence. I didn't think you would notice. Lucette. Why? You are my knight. I spend a lot of time with you, so of course I am aware of how others treat you. Fritz. Shocked. Yes, right choice. Caring about Fritz is the right choice. Lucette. I also know what it is like to be distant from your own family. If you do not wish to speak of such matters, you do not need to. Fritz. Thank you, Princess. Fritz clears his throat before he turns to me, his smile so bright it seems to light up his face. Fritz. Would you like to get breakfast? I happen to know where the best baker in all of Angiel sells her croissants. The thought of croissants makes my mouth water. I am at the door in seconds. Lucette. What are you standing around for? I am hungry. Fritz. We leave at once, then. I'm really here for it, and I'm going to be sad when things start going south. Yeah, no, I totally agree, Ice Starmie. It's nice that it was the right choice because it shows that she cares enough about him to pay attention. Yeah. And, like, I definitely, that, like, you know, even if that hadn't been canon, I would have headcanoned it, or, like, I think I kind of did earlier, because I was thinking about how Fritz is, before the events of the story, Fritz is her only real friend. So, yeah. Anyway, the shortest route to the bakery from Fritz's house leads us past the palace gates. Fritz. Princess, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to... Fritz's voice fades into the background when I notice the royal family eating their breakfast outside. Emmeline sits underneath the shade of a cherry blossom tree, reading aloud from some book in her hands. Rod is smiling as he pours tea for all of them, and Ophelia is looking on with clear love in her eyes for the family that surrounds her. The king laughs at something Emmeline is saying. He looks happier than I have ever seen him before. Lucette, thinking to herself. They truly are happier now that I do not exist with them. Father has never once looked at me the way he is looking at them. Fritz. They can't miss what they don't remember. Lucette, silence. Fritz. I'm sorry for bringing you here. I should have known it would be difficult. Lucette. How could you have known? Fritz. You're my charge. It's my job to know. Lucette, thinking to herself. Exactly how much does he know about me? I realized we had been walking as Fritz talked. The palace gates are well behind us, and the royal family is thankfully out of earshot. Fritz. Here we are. The variety of breads and pastries in the window of the bakery make my heart skip a beat. It has been a long time since I have seen such delicious-looking pastries. Oh yeah, Ice Starmie, it is very much a sad scene. Very much like the scene in Rod's route when she sees them having breakfast and being comfortable around each other, and there's a similar scene in Waltz's route too. Yeah, and I feel like in other scenes, she gets that from Rod, like Rod just tells her. So like, no matter what the route, she gets to see and or hear that her family seems happier without her, and no matter what, that's gonna suck. Fritz. Pick anything you want, Princess. Lucette. Anything? Fritz. Whatever you want. I know how much you like your pastries. Maybe I'll finally see you smile. Lucette. What? Fritz. Go on in, princess. I'll be right behind you. Fritz and I returned to his home to eat our pastries. Wow, Lucette, you're not even gonna stop in at the Marchand to tell them that you're not dead? Okay. Lucette, thinking to herself, they truly are the best croissants I've ever had. As we come to the end of breakfast, Fritz turns to me, a hesitant expression on his face. Fritz. Princess? Lucette. Yes? Fritz. I hate to say this, but I'm expected at the palace today. I'm afraid I have to ask you to stay here on your own. Lucette, thinking to herself. But the people at the Marchand. Out loud. I was planning on returning today to explain why I haven't been back. Fritz. But it's not safe for you outside. Lucette. I understand, but there are people I must see. I will not stay here for much longer. Fritz. Silence. Can I really not change your mind about staying here? Lucette, thinking to herself. I know that Fritz can certainly keep me safe, but I cannot shake the feeling that I am safer at the Marchand. I mean, to be fair, Lucette, you are 100% right. Like, Fritz would keep you safe if he could, but he is lacking crucial knowledge to actually be effective at keeping you safe, and his father is one of the biggest risks. That's true. Karma's and Rumpelsroot have much less of her seeing her family without her. Like, she doesn't see it happen. She just hears it from Rod. And so, yeah, you're right. It's a lot less sad in that, in their roots. Anyway, yeah, so Lucette, good instincts. You are definitely safer at the Marchand. Sorry, Fritz. You should come stay with her at the Marchand. Lucette, thinking to herself. Oh, yeah, I guess I'll start that back from the beginning. Lucette, thinking to herself. I know that Fritz can certainly keep me safe, but I cannot shake the feeling that I am safer at the Marchand, even if it means having to stay with the witch that cursed me. When I do not answer, Fritz sighs and shakes his head. Fritz. Very well. I will ask for a day off so I can personally escort you back to this Marchand. Lucette. Tomorrow. Fritz. Sorry? Lucette. Take me back tomorrow. Fritz. Tomorrow, then. I spend the day looking around the house. Lucette. This home is so impersonal. You'd never know that two different people live here. The rooms are so empty. Even I had my dolls in my room. As I walk about the living room, I notice a broom standing forgotten and alone in a corner. I suddenly remember the broom Delora enchanted for me. Lucette, thinking to herself, I do not miss that broom. But this one could definitely use a ribbon. Fritz. Princess? Lucette. Fritz, that was fast. Fritz. I have something for you. Ah! Yes! Ah! Oh gosh, yeah. I agree, Ice Starmie. It is good that Lucette isn't as trusting as her father, or else she would have advisors like Alcaster and Myth. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Like, oh my gosh. Lucette's father does not have a good sense for people. Like, he cannot read people at all. Lucette, I mean, maybe some of it comes from, like, the emotional damage from her mother, but she has a much finer tuned instinct for when people are actually kind of shady. I mean, she also kind of thinks that people who are not shady are shady, so she's also already predisposed to think of people that way, but, you know. Anyway, give me just one sec. I want to actually... no, never mind. I was going to, like, adjust something, but I think I'm good. Alright. Lucette. Silence. Also, yes, I'm so excited. Fritz brought her favorite doll! And that's really good, because that means she has one person that she can definitely trust. And Ice Starmie, this is why you said that there's really good Delora and Lucette content in this. That makes sense. But yeah, and it's like, it's not that she can't trust Fritz. Okay, here's how I view it. It's not that she can't trust Fritz, it's that she can't trust Varg, and I have not gotten the impression that Fritz has any level of control over Varg, much less knowledge of. Yay, I'm glad. I'm glad. Oh, I star me. If I like Delora, I will love this part. Yay. I'm excited for it. I bet Delora was gonna have been so worried about her. Oh man, we'll see. Well, I mean, also maybe berate her for not checking in, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, either way, I'm excited. Lucette, silence. Fritz, I found this doll in my room at the palace. She's one of yours, isn't she? Lucette, thinking to herself. The Delora doll was still in my room? But how? I'm gonna save here. I'm disinclined to go I'm too old for dolls. I don't know if this means she's about to try and explain who Delora is, though. Well, we'll try it. Oh no, that was just her saying, Fritz said, she's one of your dolls, right? And Lucette says, she is. Fritz. Also, like, it would be so weird for Lucette to say, I'm too old for dolls. Like, she loves dolls. Fritz would be extremely confused if she tried to pull an I'm too old for dolls card. Fritz. I thought so. Isn't she one of your favorites? Lucette. Yes, she was. Thinking to herself. Until she cursed me. Out loud. How did she get into your room? Fritz. No idea. Perhaps one of the maids left her there. But I thought you'd like it if I brought her back for you. Yeah, she walked into your room and turned into a doll, hoping that you'd bring her to Lucette. After finishing dinner, Fritz excuses himself to run more errands, so I return to my room. Earlier, when Fritz had given her to me, I threw Delora on my bed. Lucette. Delora. Now I turn to glare at her, and all at once the doll comes alive with a sigh. Delora. Would you believe me if I said I was worried? Yay! My first guess was correct. She was worried. Lucette. Silence. Delora. I honestly thought you were going to act like you didn't recognize me. It made me happy that you said I was your favorite, Lucette. Lucette. You were my favorite. Delora. You wound me, princess. Lucette. What are you doing here? Delora. Do you have any idea how worried Parfait was? Okay, Delora, that was a little tsundere of you. Delora. When Waltz came back alone and told us what happened, well, Parfait and Annis went into hysterics. The boys and Jurian looked like they were going to commit murder. When you didn't come back that night, I had a lot of trouble convincing everyone to stay at the Marchen when they wanted to look for you. Especially Waltz. You have no idea how guilty he felt after losing you like that. Lucette, thinking to herself. They were looking for me? Delora. Princess? Why didn't you come back to the Marchen? Lucette. I was going to, but Fritz is overprotective. I know it's not... Delora. Hush. Lucette. Don't hush. I stop myself when I hear footsteps just outside the door. Alcaster. This is entirely unnecessary. Man. The walls have ears, Sir Alcaster. The two men walk away, leaving the hallway silent. Lucette. That is just another one of Sir Alcaster's late-night errands. But my words die in my throat when I turn to Delora and see that she is eerily silent, her forehead furrowed. Delora. This presence. Lucette. Delora? Delora. It is weak, but it's there. I can feel it. Lucette. Delora, what are you talking about? Finally, Delora looks at me slowly, as if just now recognizing we are both in the same room. Delora. This is bad. We must return to the Marchen. Now. Oh no, but then she's not going to be there when poor Fritz gets there. Aww. Oh, yep, now we have Myth using that silencing spell. Oh, and that's why Delora felt him, because he said, yeah, something, something, not safe here, whatever he said, and then silence spell, and she probably felt the energy of the spell. Okay, they don't leave immediately. That's kind of reassuring. Alright, so that was chapter 3. I guess that was a shorter one, but it was a lot of exciting stuff happened. I'm going to have to tell folks who did not make it to this stream that they should definitely watch the VOD, because, oh man, a lot of stuff is going on. I'm very excited. Alright, and I do want to apologize for missing last week's stream. I fell asleep. I slept through my stream. But yeah, I should be back at it as usual next week, and we'll get to chapter 4 of Fritz's Route. And I am, oh man, a lot of really interesting stuff is happening, and I'm really excited. And I did love that scene with Delora. I think it was really cute when she was like, do you know how worried Parfait was about you? And everyone else, and totally not me, I don't know what you're talking about. Yay. Yay. Anyway, right, so I'm gonna call it there for today. Thank you so much, as always, Ice Stormy, for hanging out and chatting. It's always a pleasure to have you here for these streams, and I hope to see you next week. And and also anyone else who might be lurking, or anyone else who watches the VOD later, I appreciate you all very much, as always. And I will see folks next week, if not sooner. Bye! Indeed, Delora is totally tsundere. Okay, now for reals, bye. Bye!